Hey guys, welcome. So today we are talking about whether or not you can actually make money on YouTube and whether or not it's worth doing. I get this question all the time. I've built multiple monetized YouTube channels and I've helped many of my clients do the same. The truth is there's a lot of money to be had and there's a way to do it. So let's talk about that today, and go ahead and write your questions down in the chat bubble, and I will answer as many of them as I can for you. So when I started YouTube, I really wasn't sure what I would do with YouTube. I had some false starts, I guess you would call it. I tried starting one way, I tried doing another type of channel, I tried different types of content, and I really struggled to figure out what it is that I wanted to do with YouTube. The funny thing is now I have multiple channels making money, not just one. So my first point, I guess, with that is that it surprised me when I started to figure it out. The ways that I make money on YouTube, the ways that I do things on YouTube, the channels that I've started aren't really what I thought they would be. So how do you go about finding out what it is that you should do on YouTube? My honest answer for that is to start posting videos. Just do it. Your first couple of videos aren't going to get many views anyway, and you'll start to figure out what kind of content you're comfortable with, what kind of content you want to make. Try some different styles, try some different techniques in your videos, and then you'll start to develop this idea of what works well for you. You'll also start seeing, although it being very small, which one of your videos got views and which ones didn't. Now, truthfully, here's something that will really surprise you, and it really surprised me. Even though you have great content to share on YouTube, the truth is nobody will see it if your thumbnail doesn't work. You hear a lot of people, if you've done any research about YouTube, you hear them say titles and thumbnails, titles and thumbnails. It's actually backwards. It's thumbnails and titles. If your thumbnail doesn't get somebody to stop scrolling looking for a video to watch, then you're not going to get views. The best videos in the world get very few views because the thumbnail is terrible and then the title doesn't follow it up. So the first thing you really need to do when you're creating videos is spend time thinking about your thumbnail. Quite often that thumbnail is an afterthought, not a before thought. And really it needs to be something that you're thinking about. What should my thumbnail look like for this video? And really spend time crafting that thumbnail. Now, another thing that people really do frequently with these thumbnails is they put a lot of words in the thumbnail. Don't do that. It just needs to be a quick little hook that leaves me wondering what I'm going to get out of this video. So yes, it needs to tell you something about what the content is in the video, but it doesn't need to answer the question. I need to watch the video to answer the question that the thumbnail leaves me with. Then your title needs to follow the thumbnail, and the two need to work hand in hand. So that really surprised me. And I really wish somebody could have clearly emphasized for me how important the thumbnails were. The other thing that I really wish somebody would have told me in the beginning stages was really how to just go about making videos and not worry about it. Just make videos. Just make videos. Just make your first couple of videos and you'll start to figure it out. And yes, I'm looking down here to make sure I'm catching any comments or questions that are popping in. So that's why I'm looking at the screen. And I have a few notes here as well on things that I'm sharing with you. So go ahead and just make your first couple videos. It's okay if you don't like them. It's fine. And like I said, most people really aren't going to see your first couple of videos anyway. And in the future, when your channel blows up, you can always go back and hide those videos so that nobody sees them anymore if you really don't want them to. But truthfully, in a year from now, you're going to be pretty proud of those first videos because you're going to see how far you came in such a short amount of time. Really, I work with some YouTubers who, in their first month or two, they're light years away from where their first video was. It doesn't take long to get used to doing this when you get in the pattern of actually doing it. But most of the time, it doesn't happen because you don't actually start. So go ahead, record that video and get going. Now, as far as gear and equipment, That's the next thing I hear about is people ask or stop or whatever by saying, well, I don't have this, I don't have that. Start with what you have. If you have a cell phone, great, record with it. That's good enough. And believe it or not, especially the iPhone records fantastic video and the audio quality on it is good enough. So just get started. Because if you can find yourself in a regular rhythm of recording videos and getting in the reps, doing the practice, then it's also more justifiable in the future to get the right equipment that you're after. But you really won't even know what the right equipment is until you figure out what your groove looks like. I have tons of camera gear and tons of microphone gear and tons of everything, but really none of that is known. At first, you have an idea of what you think you might want or what you think you might need, but you really won't know until you actually start doing it. So don't go out and buy a bunch of equipment now. Get started first. First, get started. Start with what you have. I can't emphasize that enough. So the beauty of YouTube is let's talk about some honest breakdown of what it costs and whether or not you can make money with it. Truthfully, it provides some great passive income. Even with tiny little channels that aren't even monetized, you can make great money. You don't need YouTube monetization to make great money from YouTube. I know that sounds crazy, but there's a lot of ways to do this. Let's start with one of the less obvious ones, and that's if you own a small business, YouTube is fantastic for you. Because what will happen if you own a small business, you can make videos about what you do. Now, to you, these videos may seem boring or may seem obvious and like nobody would be interested. But a person like me, I love seeing behind the scenes, how stuff is done, how different companies operate. I would watch those videos. And there's thousands and thousands and thousands of people like me who would watch those videos that you think aren't interesting because you do it every day. I've even seen truck drivers driving semi-trucks down the road, making videos of their day, sitting there driving down the highway. It's actually a little bit interesting to me. Now, that might not be my favorite content to watch, but I do watch it. But to a truck driver just sitting there driving all day, you may think, well, this is boring. Who wants to sit here and watch me just drive down the highway all day? Trust me, people do. I've also seen some people make a similar kind of concept who are train conductors or train engineers, whatever they call the guy who drives the train. Right there in the cab of his train, he has a camera and no steering wheel. He's just there and you're just watching this footage of the train going down the track. That's it. And people watch it. So even though the train engineer may think that's boring because they see this every single day, there's other people who will find it interesting. So just what you do every day as a small business or as a business owner is very interesting to somebody. Now, one of the ways this actually makes you money is by providing this content. Potential customers see your content and think you're the best provider of your services, of your business, of the things that you sell. So they start to call you instead of your competitors. It's pretty much like a free advertising resource at that point for you to make a YouTube channel based on what you do in your business. So that's way number one, without even being monetized, that you can make money is potential customers call you. Way number two is pretty obvious. You've heard this before. Affiliate links. Actually, they're probably in this description now. I think I put something in there. But when you're talking to your audience, when you're making a video, if there's a specific product or something that you use, you could reference that and say, hey, I left a link to this below and people can buy that product if they want to. And when they do, you get a small commission for referring somebody to go buy that product. It's a great resource. I get asked all the time, what microphones do I use? What cameras do I use? What this do I use? What that do I use? That's an excellent affiliate option for me of, hey, here's the camera I use. Here's the microphone I use. If you'd like to buy one just like mine, here's the link. Go ahead and buy it. But there's no obligation for anyone to buy anything with the affiliate link. And I've done this with other things. Specifically on this channel, it's a lot of product reviews. And the reason I'm putting these videos here, this series of live videos about YouTube and how to make money off YouTube, is because it's kind of a review of an income process, a review on whether or not YouTube is worth it. So I don't know that this is the perfect fit for this channel, but I think it's valuable content that could potentially help somebody as they're trying to understand whether or not YouTube is the right platform for them to be on, whether or not it's worth the time or investment. So as a small business, you get phone calls because you're willing to build YouTube videos. You could also make money off affiliate links. Those are two ways. You could also have your own other product or service. Maybe you wrote a book. You could reference that book. Maybe you offer coaching services. So you could talk about the different things that you coach people on and offer advice, and people will call you, just like for a small business. So these are some very basic ways that you can make money with YouTube without even being monetized. Then you get into the monetization. So how do you get monetized? Well, you need to get 1,000 subscribers on your YouTube channel. That's the first step. The other thing that you need is 4,000 watch hours in 1 year's time, in 365 days. And then YouTube will start placing ads on your videos and pay you, I believe it's 55% or 45% of the ad revenue. So they charge somebody to run those ads on YouTube, you know, those skippable ads. And then you get paid for every one of those ads that's run on one of your videos. And this is a great income source. It absolutely is. But truthfully, the affiliate links and the product referrals and your business phone calls are worth far more than monetization. So I see so many people striving so hard to get to YouTube monetized, but there's so many other ways to make money before you get monetized, and ultimately worth even more than being YouTube monetized. So now let's talk about some of the cons and expenses involved. One of the cons is if you're strictly in it to be monetized, it could take a little while. Some people get monetized very quickly. Some people it takes a year or two, or sometimes 3 years I've seen for people to get monetized. And everybody hits a slump or a dead season or a slow season. And that dip, that slump, that whatever you want to call it, plateau, is where people give up. And if they just keep pushing through that, they'll get there. But sometimes it gets so frustrating to see that you're not getting anywhere. And then all of a sudden you do, but they give up when it seems like they're just getting nowhere and not getting results. This is very common. And that makes it very hard to get through to the point where you are fully monetized. As far as expense, it really doesn't need to cost you anything because you already have a phone in your pocket. Excuse me. You already have a phone in your pocket that records perfect audio and perfect video. Especially if you have an iPhone that was made like within the last, I'd say even 7 years, the video quality on that is pretty darn good. And newer iPhones like iPhone 13 and up record amazing footage. So you could just use your phone. There's nothing wrong with that. I know a lot of big YouTubers who actually make most of their video using their phone. I've got a lot of camera gear, and I find myself reverting to my phone when I'm out and about because it's easy. It's in my pocket. It's right there. I don't need to think about what gear I'm carrying or what other equipment I need. So I use my phone a lot. Now, I do often pair that with a microphone, but I don't always have a microphone with me, so I don't always use a microphone. So it can be free to start. It can be free to keep going, but it's going to take you your time as you make these videos. And then you just need to try out different styles. Do you make videos off the cuff as you happen to go throughout your day? Do you script out a video? Do you use a teleprompter and read your script? I don't suggest doing that because those videos tend to underperform when you do that. So don't do that method unless you really can't put together a video without having that script. So then how much does YouTube pay when you actually get to monetized? Well, the typical theory is it pays between $1 and $5 for every 1,000 views you get. Now that number can vary quite wide. My channels currently are well above that, getting more dollars per view than the $1 to $5. But the typical rule of thumb is $1 to $5 per 1,000 views that you get on your channel. So when you get to the monetized point, this money can add up very quickly. It's not uncommon for people to have like $100 or $200 in their first month monetized. And then in month 2, 3, and 4, they start to get into thousands of dollars per month. So it can be very lucrative, but it's not always very lucrative. But through the other methods that I talked about already, it can be very lucrative. So even without monetization, you can get very lucrative. And then monetization just adds like the icing on the cake at that point. All the other money is the cake, and then YouTube pays you and you get even more money. So that is really nice to have. So realistic expectations for somebody new thinking about starting a channel, just like what you're thinking about doing. I'd say expect to be making videos for 2 years before you get monetized by YouTube. But you can make money within your first 30 days using the other methods, using affiliate linking and using an offer where people can call you for your business services or buy a product that you currently already offer. So you can make money fairly quickly. Now, is it a get rich type money? Definitely not in your first month. Definitely not. But you can make money. And over the course of that year, you're building your reputation online and you're picking up more customers, and it starts to build a lot of money quickly. And then as you get monetized and continue building, that money really snowballs. So YouTube is a little bit of a long-term game. So if you're looking for money tomorrow, excuse me, if you're looking for money tomorrow, YouTube is not the place where you're making instant money tomorrow. But if you're looking to essentially make an investment in your future, YouTube can really pay out very well over a period of time. Bigger channels, I mean, they make bonkers money, and you know about those. And those are somewhat of the outliers, like the Mr. Beast making millions of dollars per video. But small channels can truthfully earn 6-figure salaries every year off of a small channel. So as a side hustle, is it worth it? Well, yes, I believe it is very much worth it as a side hustle. Like I said, you're not going to make the money right away, but it's going to snowball over time and build up this recurring revenue model for you that continues to make you money. So it is really a good opportunity to build a business around and make money. Especially, I didn't even talk about before, you could also have brand deals where brands pay you to mention their products in your videos. Now, it's important if you do this to not do brand deals for products you don't trust or products you wouldn't use. But you can do brand deals, and I've made significant income every year off of brand deals. So brand deals can be quite lucrative. And then long term, having this extra income source, it can build quite the freedom for you. So either it adds a financial cushion that you didn't have before, so it can give you some more financial freedom and freedom to do things that you would like to do. And ultimately, it will build up enough income where if you wanted to, you could replace your job with the income you're making from your YouTube type monies, whether it's YouTube monetized, your affiliate linking, your products that you're offering, your coaching, those things, and brand deals, that it can replace your job and offer you all kinds of freedom to be a full-time content creator. So it's really great for building a long-term income plan. So just some closing thoughts here for this today. Unless I see some questions pop in, you guys have been really quiet today. So if you've got some questions, go ahead and write those in now before we wrap this up. YouTube is fantastic, but it is a long-term game. When you first start doing YouTube, you're not going to know what you're doing or what you want to do. You might have some ideas, but it's going to take making some videos before you really start to figure it out. It can absolutely change your life. I know a lot of people whose lives have been changed by simply making videos. I know some big YouTubers, I mean, literally making 7 figures a year off their YouTube channel, who said that in their first 3 years, they weren't even getting views. So that's really interesting because these are some big boys that you thought just hit it big. It took them some time. And so keep in mind, it's going to take a little bit of time. The key is to just get started and just get started with what you have. So that's what I've got for you today. Thank you so much for joining me. Hey, even after this ends, I'm going to set this up for availability for you to watch it. Go ahead and write in the comments section any questions you have, and I'll try and address those. And I plan to be here every week talking YouTube, talking income streams, talking ways that you can make money as a content creator. Thanks so much for joining me, and I look forward to seeing you in our next video.